Every time I come to City Hall, in this section, I have a flashback 64 years when we sat in at the lunch counter here in Cohen Brothers, in this very bed of this area where we are right now. To Mayor Deegan, city officials, my pastor, Reverend Dr. McKee, Elder Kim McKissick, friends of liberty and freedom, friends of a new Jacksonville, lovers of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Good morning. President Abraham Lincoln announced the Emancipation Proclamation on September 22nd, 1862. It was issued under powers granted to the president as a fit and necessary war measure. The proclamation declared that on this first day of January, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward and forever free. However, Lincoln's proclamation only referred to those areas that were under the United States of America's control. On the eve of January 1st, 1863, the first watch night services occurred. It was called Freedom's Eve. On that night, enslaved and free African Americans gathered in churches and private homes all across the country, awaiting news that the Emancipation Proclamation had taken effect. At the stroke of midnight, prayers were answered as all enslaved persons in the Confederate States were declared legally free. After January 1st, 1863, Union soldiers, including those who were black, marched onto plantations and across cities in the South, reading small copies of the Emancipation Proclamation and spreading the news of freedom in the Confederate States. However, not everyone in Confederate territory would immediately be free. On Juneteenth, we remember that after the Emancipation Proclamation ended slavery and after the so-called Civil War, hundreds of thousands of Americans in Texas and other southern states were still kept in servitude. For over 1.5 centuries, the Juneteenth holiday has been a sacred celebration in many black communities. President Joe Biden signed the legislation making Juneteenth a national holiday on June 17, 2021. Oprah Lee, who I had the opportunity to meet here in Jacksonville, a former teacher and activist from Texas, is largely credited for rallying others behind a campaign to make Juneteenth a national holiday. Though some have celebrated, we are commemorating that day, not celebrating the day. But if you want to say celebrate, so be it. But I'm not going to celebrate taking the chains off when persons should not have had chains on to begin with.